Let's get started with our first news story, and it's heating up fast. UFC legend Jon Jones had some choice words for rising heavyweight Tom Aspinall after a recent quote made headlines in the MMA world. The drama kicked off when Verdict MMA shared a snippet from Tom Aspinall's latest appearance on Demetrius Johnson's YouTube channel. During the conversation, Aspinall expressed his frustration with the state of the heavyweight division and his lack of activity in recent months. He's been sidelined for nearly a year, and it's clear that patience is wearing thin. In the quote shared by Verdict MMA, Aspinall didn't hold back. He said, "I've been inactive for nearly a year, and I'm just being told to wait. I don't care about fighting Jon Jones. I just want to be the undisputed champion." That line, "I don't care about fighting Jon Jones," clearly didn't sit well with the reigning heavyweight king. It wasn't long before Jon Jones responded, and he did so in a way only Jon Jones can. Direct, loud, and unmistakably dominant. Jones fired back by dropping a blunt comment right under the post. "Shut your mouth and do as you're told." The comment immediately sparked a storm of reactions across social media, with fans and analysts chiming in from both sides. Some defended Aspinall, saying that he's earned his shot and should be next in line, especially after capturing the interim heavyweight title in dominant fashion. Others backed Jones, arguing that the undisputed champion has nothing to prove and that Aspinall should wait his turn like everyone else. This isn't the first time tensions have flared between the two. Over the past several months, there's been a growing sense of anticipation around a potential clash between Jones and Aspinall, a fight that would pit the veteran GOAT against the new breed of heavyweight talent. But so far, the UFC hasn't officially booked the matchup, and Jones remains on the sidelines recovering from injury. Tom Aspinall has maintained a calm but confident tone throughout these discussions. He's made it clear that his goal is not to chase names, but to unify the belt and become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Jones, on the other hand, sees these comments as a sign of disrespect, and given his history of defending his status at the top, it's not surprising he snapped back. Now fans are left wondering, will this war of words lead to an actual war in the octagon? Will the UFC finally make the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight happen later this year? One thing's for sure, the tension is real, the stakes are high, and the heavyweight division just got a whole lot more interesting. Moving on to our next update, Charles Oliveira is done staying silent. The former lightweight champion has fired back at critics and members of the MMA community who continue to question his legacy, his durability, and his heart inside the octagon. This all stems from the lead up to his high-stakes bout against Justin Gaethje at UFC 274. Back then, Gaethje, also known as the Highlight, didn't mince words. He openly labeled Oliveira a quitter, referencing earlier moments in the Brazilian's career where he had suffered tough losses. Gaethje implied that when things get rough, Do Bronx tends to fold under pressure, but Oliveira had the perfect response, not with words, but with actions. He stormed into UFC 274 with a point to prove and delivered a dominant first-round finish of Gaethje, silencing the doubters, at least temporarily. The performance showcased Oliveira's ferocity, resilience, and elite-level skill as he survived early pressure and submitted Gaethje in stunning fashion. However, even after that emphatic win, doubts still linger in the minds of some fans and analysts. Questions about Oliveira's chin and his ability to withstand punishment continue to surface, particularly when analyzing his previous fights against top contenders like Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. Now, as he prepares for his next test, Oliveira has decided to address the criticism head-on. In a recent interview with Full Violence, Oliveira didn't hold back. He said, "We've been in there for 15 years. I've seen a lot of these guys say a lot of things, that I give up, that I'm going to lose, that they're going to knock me out, that they're going to finish me. And then when the time comes, they don't do anything." His message was clear. Talk is cheap, and when the lights are on and the cage door closes, he delivers. Oliveira, who holds the UFC record for most submission wins, has reinvented himself in recent years, transforming from a rising talent with inconsistency into one of the most dangerous and respected fighters in the game. Up next for Oliveira is a massive showdown with Ilia Topuria, scheduled during the UFC's highly anticipated International Fight Week. While the build-up between the two has remained mostly respectful so far, Oliveira made his intentions very clear. He's vowed to finish Topuria, also known as El Matador, and once again hold UFC gold before the night is over. This is more than just another fight for Oliveira. It's a chance to remind the world that he's not only one of the most skilled fighters in the lightweight division, but one of the toughest. He's aiming to silence the remaining critics and rewrite the final chapters of his storied UFC career on his own terms. Stay tuned, because if history has taught us anything, when Charles Oliveira steps into the octagon, fireworks are guaranteed. Let's move on to the next headline, and it's one that has left many fans scratching their heads. The anticipated showdown between Alexander Volkanovski and Movar Evlov is officially off the table, at least for now. After Volkanovski reclaimed his featherweight title with a dominant performance over Diego Lopes, many expected his next bout to be a true test against the undefeated Evlov. Volkanovski himself seemed eager to hand Evlov his first professional loss and solidify his dominance over the division once more. But despite the interest from both fighters, the UFC appears to have different plans. In a recent post on social media, Movar Evlov revealed that the fight with Volkanovski will not happen next, but showed appreciation for the champ's willingness to step up. In his message, Evlov wrote, "If you are a UFC fighter and believe you are the best in the world, then you have to fight every fight they throw at you. No risk, no reward. See you guys in July. It's on. Abu Dhabi." He followed up with a respectful nod to the champ. "Thank you, champ, for trying to fight me. I will fight in July and you fight in September. Hopefully we both win and we can meet in December." While Evlov didn't name his opponent, the post all but confirms he has been booked for UFC's July event in Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, Volkanovski is reportedly being lined up for a September main event on the Noche UFC card, and his likely opponent is Yair Rodriguez, a rematch that has stirred debate within the MMA community. Rodriguez is just 1-2 in his last 3 fights, and one of those losses was a third-round knockout at the hands of Volkanovski himself. For many fans, the decision to run it back now, especially after Rodriguez's recent setbacks, feels forced. Veteran MMA journalist Damon Martin from MMA Fighting didn't hold back. He commented, "Evlov deserved the title shot. If the UFC is going with Volk versus Yair too, that just makes no sense. Yair is 1-2 in his last 3, and one of those losses was getting knocked out by Volk inside 3 rounds. There's gotta be a better way to sell a Noche UFC card." Featherweight contender Giga Chikadze also fueled the rumors this week during a podcast appearance, casually referencing Volkanovski versus Rodriguez 2 as if it were a done deal. His comments only added to the growing speculation about what's next for the division. So now the question is, who will Movar Evlov face in July? And if Volkanovski does go on to defeat Yair again, will we finally get the showdown with Evlov in December? Nothing is set in stone, but one thing is clear. The featherweight division is heating up and the fans are watching closely. Next up, Jon Jones has finally reacted to Nate Diaz's unexpected departure from the Russian version of The Ultimate Fighter, and it's as chaotic as you'd imagine. The news broke after Red Corner MMA released exclusive footage showing tension inside the training villa where the show is being filmed. Not in Russia, but in Thailand, a neutral location chosen for production. The series is a spin-off of the iconic UFC reality show, and both Jon Jones and Nate Diaz had signed on as team captains, tasked with guiding young, hungry fighters from around the world. However, the entire project took a turn on the very first day of filming. According to multiple sources, an altercation broke out between Nate Diaz and a member of his team, a young Russian fighter named Zadek. What started as playful sparring quickly escalated into a full-blown brawl that spread across the villa, involving multiple fighters from both camps. The chaos was so intense that security had to step in, and production was temporarily halted. Shortly after the incident, Nate Diaz voluntarily left the show. Fans speculated on social media whether it was due to creative differences, cultural misunderstandings, or just classic Nate Diaz street energy clashing with the structured nature of the show. Now, Jon Jones has offered his side of the story. Speaking to the press during a behind-the-scenes media segment shared by Red Corner MMA, Jones said, "Yeah, we had one of our young fighters, a guy named Zadek. He was play fighting with Nate, you know, just trying to goof around and lighten the mood. But Nate came in a little on edge. I think he already had some previous beef with Russian fighters, so he was on guard." Jones continued, "The play fighting turned real, fast, and once things got serious, we had to make a decision. Nate ended up leaving on his own, but we definitely had to replace him. The show must go on." The UFC heavyweight champ went on to reflect on the environment inside the villa, drawing a contrast between martial arts tradition and what he calls street mentality. "I've been around that Bushido spirit for a long time. that martial arts discipline, that code. There are certain rules you don't cross, even when things get heated. But here, it's different. Some of these guys are warriors, and others are just street fighters. There are insults, weapons, and energy that doesn't belong in a dojo, he added. This show, there's nothing like it. It's not just about fights in the cage. It's raw, it's unpredictable, and it's showing sides of fighters that fans have never seen before. As of now, production is moving forward with a replacement for Diaz, though no official name has been released. The buzz around this wild start has only heightened anticipation for the series, which promises to be unlike any other MMA reality show to date. Let's move on to another major storyline brewing in the lightweight division. Arman Tsarukyan has his sights set on none other than Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, following a highly anticipated title shot against Islam Makhachev that was unfortunately scrapped due to a back injury. Arman Tsarukyan's momentum came to a sudden halt. UFC President Dana White later made it clear in interviews that Tsarukyan would need to earn his way back into the title conversation. Since then, fans and analysts alike have been waiting to see what's next for the Armenian contender. Now, Tsarukyan has taken matters into his own hands. In a recent interview with Red Corner MMA, Tsarukyan issued a direct call out to Paddy Pimblett, who's fresh off the biggest win of his career, a stunning upset over former title challenger Michael Chandler. With that win, Pimblett finally earned mainstream respect as a legitimate top 10 lightweight. Speaking on the matchup, Tsarukyan said, "If the UFC offers me a fight with Pimblett this summer or before the end of the year, I'll accept. He looked very good in his last fight. Now we can say he's top 10. I think he's number 8 or something. He's probably not going to fight soon, maybe later this year, but I want to fight this summer, then again at the end of the year. I'll take that. He has a big name." The call-out quickly ignited interest within the MMA community. Luke Thomas, one of the sport's most respected analysts, shared his reaction on social media. "I can't believe how much I like this idea." And Tsarukyan isn't alone in his interest. Another top lightweight contender, Mateusz Gamrot, has also thrown his name into the mix. In the lead up to his upcoming bout with Ludovic Klein, Gamrot used both Twitter and his appearance on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani to take shots at Pimblett. "I don't like this guy," Gamrot said. "He talks too much. He's arrogant. He's from England. He's talked about me many times. I'd love to meet him in the octagon. His path to where he is right now, it's been easy. If he gets a good opponent, I don't think he wins. I'd love to fight him. He's from Europe. I'm from Europe." Gamrot's comments sparked even more online debate, with fans split between those who believe Paddy's hype is finally justified and others who see him as a still unproven name propped up by his charisma and fan base. Now, with multiple ranked contenders actively calling for a showdown, the UFC finds itself in a fascinating position. Do they give Paddy another massive fight and see if he can continue this impressive rise? Or do they protect one of their most marketable stars? Either way, Paddy Pimblett is no longer the overlooked underdog. He's being hunted by some of the toughest lightweights in the world, and how he responds could shape the division's future. Finally, UFC President Dana White is under intense fire following the release of ticket prices for UFC 318, and the backlash is massive. With pre-sale tickets officially going live this week, fans were shocked to discover that even nosebleed seats, the ones furthest from the action, are starting at over $700, and that's before taxes and fees. After all the add-ons, many fans are seeing the cheapest available seats soar to nearly $1,000. That revelation has lit a fire across the MMA community, with both casual fans and fighters voicing frustration and disappointment at what they see as blatant price gouging. Veteran UFC fighter Derek Brunson didn't hold back, tweeting, "Better be Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall main event with Islam Makhachev versus Topuria as co-main with these nosebleed prices." And he wasn't alone. One fan commenting on X, formerly Twitter, added, "I really hope people start boycotting the event. The Miami card was embarrassingly empty in the upper levels. Seats in front of me were listed at $550, but I paid $400 the day of the fight because there was no demand. The section in front of me, 9 rows, like 2 or 3 people per row. SAD, another comment that's gaining traction across social media, reads, "Instead of filling the arena, their greed makes the environment feel empty, and the sentiment is echoed far and wide. Dozens of fans have pointed out that the UFC seems more focused on profits than the live experience." One frustrated fan wrote, "They also lie about fan attendance numbers. Paying $700 when you can buy the pay-per-view and get a better view from home is wild. It's really gotten insane." Others are reminiscing about what UFC events used to be. One fan compared today's prices to past experiences. "I paid $35 for UFC 236 tickets. Now it's $700 for the nosebleeds. This sport used to be for the people." Another said, "It's not for the fans anymore. It's for the celebrities and influencers in the front row. Imagine paying $700 to watch Victoria Allen in a co-main from the nosebleeds." Many longtime fans are now expressing concerns that the UFC is becoming exactly what it once promised to never be: a bloated, over-commercialized machine more concerned with VIPs and broadcast deals than genuine fan access. Some have even compared the organization's trajectory to boxing, where massive price hikes and pay-per-view saturation have alienated core supporters. So now the big question looms: has UFC ticket pricing finally gotten out of control? As more fans begin to speak out, and as social media continues to amplify the outrage, it will be interesting to see if Dana White and the UFC respond, or if they double down on their high-ticket, high-roller model. What do you think? Are these prices fair for the product the UFC delivers, or has the promotion officially priced out the everyday fan? Let us know your thoughts.